So last night, the Field of Dreams game goes down. I had it on the main TV. I didn't know what to expect. Field of Dreams, such a huge movie that my father made a part of my childhood. We probably watched it a dozen times after the first time he showed it to me in the same year. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just such a big movie. It was something that we always could cut on. Growing up loving baseball, it was iconic. That's the best way to describe it. It was iconic. And so when this game, when they announced this game, I really wanted to go. Thought I had a way to get there, but then COVID happened and the game got postponed and the way to get there kind of fell through. But the way that they put this together, the way that they put the field together, the way that they had the players coming out, not gonna lie, I think at certain points, the camera angles were getting a little cheesy for me because they were trying to like recreate these views that you saw from the movie, but it wasn't the movie, you know what I'm saying? So there were moments where the camera angles got a little cheesy for me. But other than that, last night was, like Kevin Costner said, perfect. Last night was perfect. You got a storybook event. All the way from early in the game, Jose Abreu taking a yard, first home run of the game. Aaron Judge then puts him back on top. Then Eloy comes through, puts the Sox back on top. Last night was a story for it to go all the way to the ending. By the top of the ninth, Liam Hendricks giving up 2. And then he gives up another 2. Now the Sox are down 1 to Tim Anderson in the last inning. Last night, dare I say, arguably, from a showmanship point, from an excitement point, from just a baseball in general standpoint, is one of the greatest baseball games I've ever seen in my life. And I've watched I was alive for the White Sox World Series run. I remember it vividly. Watched most of those games. Watched every single playoff game. Watched Burley's perfect game. I've watched a lot of the bigger games that in my mind would have stood out for me in White Sox history in general, but just in baseball, like I think back to some of the greatest baseball games that I've seen, and this is still one of the greatest baseball games I've ever seen in my life. Just the stage that baseball finally put itself on. And I got to give a kudos to baseball. I'm not going to lie to you. I got to give a kudos to baseball because the stage that baseball put itself on, you would think that like the national stage with baseball, it's you don't want to say it's a dying sport because it's so much money's being made. Like, it's not dying, but it's a sport that it doesn't draw this kind of attention normally. The World Series doesn't draw the kind of attention, I don't believe, that we saw last night. Unless it's your team in the World Series for the most part, or you're in a city that is just built around baseball, it's not doing numbers like of course nobody's doing numbers like the Super Bowl, but I would say, a NBA Finals game, the popularity of basketball continues to rise. And there's just more continuous excitement in an NBA game than you'll see in a baseball game. And so it was so surreal last night to see not only baseball be put on this huge stage, but also for baseball to deliver in such a way with the two teams we had last night in the White Sox and the Yankees. Both teams huge thumpers, both teams able to really go after it. It's last night, in all honesty, was a movie. It was the Field of Dreams. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. how did last night's game make you feel? How did you feel about what you saw from the White Sox? How'd you feel about what you saw from a surging Yankees team that's been on the move coming up the ranks? I'll be down there talking with you in the comments as well. Now, that was from a feeling standpoint. From a baseball standpoint, some concerns as a White Sox fan. Listen, we know this team can thump the ball. To me, I think that as the playoffs get here and things start to ramp up, we will see a little bit of a switch. And you kind of heard Liam Hendriks talking last night about the acquisition of Craig Kimbrell. Liam struggled in that ninth inning, which, you know what? It's not to say that one game is going to make or break what we saw from Liam Hendriks. I think that it was on the national stage. A lot of last night's reaction to what we saw in that ninth inning was an overreaction. I think you saw a White Sox starting pitching staff that absolutely can get the job done. Lance Lynn came out there. He was dealing, really had just one bad, not even one bad inning, one bad pitch. Well, I guess you could say one bad inning because he did walk the previous batter, but really just one bad pitch. Aaron Judge puts it over the wall, but Lance Lynn was dealing last night. And then, as we get into that bullpen, you know what I'm saying? Kopech was dominant. He is going to be such a stud for us. It makes no sense. And when I'm looking at what the Sox are bringing into the table as we head closer into the playoffs, I think that eighth inning and ninth inning is going to be huge for us because you are coming in with Kimbrell, you are coming in with Liam Hendriks. I think that as we get closer to the playoffs, we're going to see a little bit of an interchange in that. We'll start to see Hendriks closing out eighth innings. We'll start to see Kimbrell going into the ninth innings because of the Hall of Fame career. That I mean, honestly, like, if with all his struggles, even if his career were to end now, he's already a Hall of Fame closer, I believe. And so I see him going into kind of that role a little bit more for the White Sox as we continue through the season. When I'm looking at the bat, man, listen, the Sox bats are back. And you want to see more consistency. You want to see them, of course, hitting the ball more consistently. But I mean, when we're talking about a team that is honestly a World Series contender, we're talking about them and they're still not 100%. They're getting closer to 100%, but they're still not 100%. And you know what? Again, we saw Adam Engel go down. He's got some hamstring tightness. That's going to be day to day. So what's going to happen with that? We got to watch for that as well. There's going to be a lot that the Sox can look at going into, especially with a lot of the players that have stepped up. What is that playoff roster going to look like? Who's going to end up being eventually sent down? Who's going to end up, our outfield, we finally got our full outfield back, and now we're back to just having 2/3 of it. And so who's going to be the guy that stays up here and continues to contribute to what the Sox are able to do? The fact that Rick Hahn has built this team and Tony La Russa has managed this team to the point that it's at, you got to give credit to both of them because of what we've seen, because of the depth we've seen in the White Sox organization. And so I'm not worried about it, but what is that playoff roster going to look like? That's really what we have to look at coming next, because the continued success of the White Sox is really built around that pitching staff, but you want to give that pitching staff as much runs like we saw last night as possible, and you want to be able to continue to do that. And I think that the Sox are going to be able to do that, especially when it gets to playoff time, especially when we start heading towards October. But I want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. How did you feel about the Field of Dreams game? How do you feel about this White Sox team moving forward? What did you see last night that really piqued your interest? I'll be down there in the comments talking with you as well. As always, it is your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago White Sox content. Click the links here or check the links in the description below. Hey, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.